Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and today's video is going to be a total mishmash of things. I've got a cool Christmas card here from a fellow YouTuber. I've got a contest winner to announce. I've got a couple of cards in the mail, and then I'm going to do a video response for Jake, the Ticket Leprechaun, for his 400 subscriber contest. So lots of stuff happening in this video, so it might be a little bit longer. Hopefully you enjoy all the different, stuff being thrown in here. But the first thing I want to announce is the winner of we did a video, if you haven't watched it yet, on Bench Clear last week, I guess, where we talked about a bunch of Christmas gift ideas for the hobbyist in your life. It was a whole lot of fun, and we said, hey, if you go comment on the video, you can win a $50 eBay gift card. And so I did a random comment picker, and it's right over here. And I did it there were 44 people that, different people that made a comment. So thanks to everybody for doing that. And the winner of that was Striker Cards, Christian. And his comment was, really great episode, very entertaining. I think the supplies are a great idea, whether it be top loaders or superior fit sleeves. If you're in the hobby, collecting or selling, you always are going to need supplies. Like Mike said, I'd rather spend $40 for a card on in my PC than buy top loaders. Amen to that. So congratulations to Christian for winning that. That is awesome. And so we'll get in touch with him and figure out how to get him his gift card. I'm going to turn the camera around now and start doing all the rest of the stuff that I wanted to do today. So hang on one second. All right. So I absolutely love this. I got a Christmas card today from our good friend Scott, Reindeer Studios. And it says, runners on bases and suicide squeezes, popcorn and hot dogs and nachos and cheeses, cheering on players with big home run swings. These are a few of my favorite things. There's a caricature of Scott. Great guy, great YouTuber. He said, Mike, hope you get some of your favorite things this year. Happy holidays from Reindeer Studios. If you don't follow Scott, you are missing out because he is an incredibly talented artist. He's super funny, super nice, super generous. You definitely need to be watching his channel. It's right there, Reindeer Studios. Thanks for your continued support. I hope you, Julie, and Norman and the kids have a very Merry Christmas. And then he included, which I absolutely love this, this right here. And I think I have one other player. I can't remember who I have. I certainly do not have Willie Mays. These are these little Topps booklets, and they're literally like a little comic book. I'll take it out of the top loader. It's in here. Be careful with it. Love it. I bet these would grade like terrible because they're little comic books, but you literally, it's like a little comic book, and you get to hear about Willie Mays' story and whatnot. I just think those are so cool, and he was kind enough to send that to me in the card. So thank you, Scott. Really, really appreciate it. Super cool. Didn't have to do that. A little bit of mail. First card I got was a Scott Rowland 95 Bowman's Best. I bought this from JT, Triple Crown 24. And, is Scott Rowland going to be a Hall of Famer? Maybe. I wouldn't vote for him, but he might get in there. And actually, that reminds me, Ray from Philly and I did a great episode talking about the Hall of Fame on the new ballot on my last Golden Age of Cardboard episode. So hopefully everybody got to watch that or listen to that. But Ray and I love talking Hall of Fame. We do it all that we can with each other. And he's a big Hall of Fame guy as well. And he believes in Scott Rowland. And hey, if Scott Rowland got in, I wouldn't be mad. So I'm preparing myself just in case. And to me, it makes a lot of sense to get these guys beforehand. I mean, this card cost me $35. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it. Somewhere around there. Not terribly expensive. I'd rather get it now than when the prices go up. And if he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, it's not a huge investment. I'm not out tons of money. And I've already got it ready to go. Got that hole filled just in case. This guy is a Hall of Famer. There's one guy on YouTube here that's going to laugh when he sees this. Actually, there'll be several guys that laugh when they see this card. One guy in particular will appreciate this card more than anybody else. Mike, Canadian cards. But 1970 Topps, Willie Stargell. Pops, as he was known to the Padres, part of the We Are family team of 79 world champs. And, just a great player, great career. Played forever, and this is just a nice 1970 Topps for my, 4-decade never-ending set registry thing. All right. Now, the last thing I want to do today is really going to be, I think, very special. Jake, the Ticket Leprechaun, is his channel. He did a contest, and his idea was to tell a story. And if you guys have watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm never afraid to tell a great story, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to have you show some cards and tell stories about them. So, wow, how do I even start this story? When I was a kid, my dad was, if you watched the poll, I told a little bit about this in terms of how I got started in collecting. And I was a kid, I loved baseball, I started collecting. And my dad worked for sports television, essentially all the sports in rodeo, and also, and he used to drag me around all the time to all these different sporting events, Cowboys and Mavericks and Rangers, and then the Stars when they came into town, and I loved it. I mean, imagine being a sports fan in that family and being able to go pretty much whenever you wanted to the ballpark or wherever, and I got to just kind of run around and hang out. And I'm going to use this card, this first one, to tell another story inside of the story. But my dad would get me, whenever he'd see a Hall of Famer, he would get a signature, and he wasn't, afraid to ask. And back then it wasn't nearly as taboo as it is today if you were to do that. And so he would go and get cards at a card shop and get them signed. And so this first one is Mr. October himself, Reggie Jackson. And notice most of these are in ballpoint pen, and that's just kind of how they did it then. But great Reggie Jackson on a 79 Topps card. I can imagine my dad, I can picture my dad, who knows nothing about sports cards and quite frankly not that much about sports. And he didn't love sports like I did, and what that really made him great as a cameraman, because he wasn't distracted watching the game. He was able to focus on his job, and he wasn't emotionally attached to anything going on. Unlike me, I'd have been like, no, and probably would have missed the shot or whatever. But he was such a great cameraman, and his job was he had the camera up in the booth with the announcers, so he always got to be up there with the announcers. And so I would hang out with him and be what's called a runner. And my job as a runner would be to basically go around and take drinks to the, cameramen, or, go run errands for anyone, or all that kind of stuff. Get nachos for the announcers, you name it. That was my job, and I'd get paid to do it. It was like great. Sit in the booth during the game, run around, and all that kind of stuff as a kid. Fantastic job. Well, one time Reggie Jackson was in town with the Angels. He was doing color commentary for the Angels on their television broadcast, and so he was up in the booth, and he needed to go down to the field go into the dugout, to the clubhouse, to the visiting clubhouse, to talk to some Angels. And so I was the runner, so I'll take you, Mr. J. This was in the old Arlington Stadium, and I knew that place like the back of my hand because I had spent my childhood there. And so he needed to go down there, and so I take him down onto the field. The easiest way to get there was to kind of go down through the stands and then cross the field, and that was during batting practice. And so Reggie, of course, stops, and he's hamming it up with some of the players, and I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was just kind of ready to get into the clubhouse and get going. Well, then I see a group of my friends from school were in the stands, trying to get autographs kind of down near the field, and they, Mike, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And this, I was middle school, maybe 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, something like that. I don't remember the exact year, but I remember for about a week I was cooled in because I'm standing there, with Reggie Jackson, right? and they're like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's up? Hanging out on the field. So that made me cool for a few minutes at school. But that's my Reggie Jackson story. There have been a lot of people that have asked about the Reggie Jackson story, and that's it. Ended up taking him to the whatever, and don't remember much more after that about the story, but I do remember that part of it. But I have a couple of these Reggie Jacksons that my dad got signed over the years. This is one of them. He also really, he saw Harmon Killebrew a few times. Literally the greatest signature of any Hall of Famer, in my opinion, other than maybe Babe Ruth, in terms of just beauty of it. I think Babe Ruth's signature is gorgeous. So is Lou Gehrig's, but Harmon Killebrew just took such pride in signing items. And he told Michael Kadire one time they were at a Twins event, and Michael Kadire was scribbling, or whatever. And this is all, I wasn't at I've just heard this story from other people. And, Harmon Killebrew writes so nice, and they got to talking about it, and I think it came across to Michael Kadire that Harmon Killebrew said, this may be the first time this person's gotten my signature, and I want it to be nice. And so Michael Kadire changed the way he autographed things from then on, and his autograph became incredibly legible, very neat, just like Harmon Killebrew's is. And so I think that's a great story and a great lesson to pass on to younger ball players, because now their signatures absolutely suck. I mean, it's just scribble, barely read a letter, much less their name. This one I remember my dad getting. I'll show him a little bit closer. This Brooks Robinson 62 Topps. And again, imagining my dad walking into a card shop, having no idea, and just saying, hey, do you have any Brooks Robinson cards? Because the Orioles are in town, and I'm going to see Brooks Robinson. And getting handed this 62 Topps All-Star card, which is great. Did the same thing. My dad's favorite Hall of Famer is Mr. Al Kaline. And so he got Al Kaline to sign this 59 Topps All-Star card, which is great. The card's beat up, and I don't care. I could care less. What's funny is looking at these and thinking about it, my dad had probably no idea what he was starting and igniting in a young boy in terms of becoming a collector. But he sparked that fuel, and I have had these for so long that when I decided to become a Hall of Fame autograph collector and focus on Hall of Famers, I already had a few cards, and it inspired me to start going like, okay, I've already got a few. Like, it's not like I'm starting from literal zero. And the last one I wanted to show is this 54 Bowman Phil Rizzuto, the scooter. So whenever the Yankees came in town, my dad would get something signed by Phil Rizzuto. So I have a ball, and then this 54 Bowman card, which I decided to send this one in to PSA. I should send all of them into PSA DNA and just get them slabbed up just for protection more than anything, but because I'm not worried about the authenticity of them. I just want, and this one I just thought was so nice and clean, and I just sent it in not too long ago. It's got the Lighthouse label, so it can't be too long ago. But there you go. So that's kind of my story. Again, we all have these ways that we got started collecting. We all probably have a unique story and kind of genesis of our collecting habits, and that's kind of mine. And my dad was such an inspiration to me. He's still a great friend of mine now, especially as I'm an old man myself, and I love him to death, and I appreciate everything that he did for me as a kid, and certainly the encouragement that he's provided to me as an adult. It's shaped me into the man that I am, and I'm eternally grateful to him for that. So thanks to all the dads out there that help their kids get started with crazy stuff like collecting baseball cards. So congratulations again, Jake, on 400 subs. Everybody have a great day. We're heading into Christmas season. I hope everybody just stays safe and, takes care of their family and has a great time hanging out with friends, etc. So again, have a good one, and remember to keep collecting.